What is up, fellow sickos? I am Dan Valley coming at you with my certified fantabulous co-host, Mr. Grant Hughes. I don't even know if I should tell the folks, this is mainly directed at our Discord members and our loyal YouTube commenters, what we're actually going to talk about for most of this pod, because we're going to begin with just the couple news items and something people have wanted your thoughts on for a while. First and foremost, though, Grant, how the heck are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been a long, I almost said it's been a minute, but that's not really a thing I would say if I were just being normal. So it's been a long time since we've talked. I'm glad to be back and speak. It's been a few minutes. It's been several days, if we're being accurate, which is just a lot of minutes, I guess. Yeah, happy to be back. Happy to speak to you. Happy to I almost said what we were going to do, but people reading the title will probably have figured this out. But yeah, glad to be back. Really awestruck at your ability to continue to produce content just by yourself, speaking into a microphone. Super impressed by that and your work ethic. That is a sincere compliment. I'm not just vamping. So yeah, looking forward to today. We also recorded something else that will come up. Will go up, I don't know, a couple weeks probably.
A while from now, yeah.
Yeah. That was really fun. So that's a very vague tease, but yeah, let's get into it. You wanted to hear my really
we have two warrior things that we need your thoughts on. One is long overdue.
Mm-hmm.
We need the Grant Hughes monologue on Klay Thompson leaving the Golden State Warriors.
Well, here's the problem. I feel like I listened to your talk with Mo the other day about DeMar DeRozan to the Kings, and I was like, that's exactly what I would have said. So I'm concerned that like whatever I say next will just have we have so much groupthink between the two of us and just in general that this won't be anything revelatory. But yeah, like I think there's certainly mixed feelings. Like it's does signal again, none of this is new. It signals the end of an era that he's leaving. It will be weird that he's just not there. It'll be weirder to see him in a different jersey. But like in light of all that we learned in the aftermath, just about how like he was not a happy person, it seemed like, because of where, in large part because of where he was, and changing that should make him happier, or at least he's hopeful that that's the case. Like, and it seems to make sense that leaving Golden State and the role he was in and all the stuff that's attached to it. I think it's probably best for him, might be best for the Warriors. So like, I get it, but emotionally it's like, yeah, this is the first time in over a decade that like, he's just not going to be there. So it sucks, but like, I get it. And I think even practically it might be just for the best, right? Like I don't actually, we haven't talked about this really. Like, is that kind of where you're at?
Yeah, and I guess you could sense it in a lot of his post-game interviews over the past year plus, but we've always viewed him as this person that's just filled with such levity, even after he suffered those injuries, that if it was taxing him emotionally that much, and then to hear Steph and Draymond kind of riff on it, was like, oh, yeah, even if they got to number X, like he just needs to go somewhere where and it probably has to be tough. Let's liken it to this podcast, because this podcast is generationally great, right? It's our own dynasty of sorts.
100%.
How would I feel if I was watching you get all these opportunities, you wanted to have all these interviews, and you're on ESPN, you're talking about the podcast while I'm just like still off to the side. And like, he's going through that with Draymond and Steph Curry, where they became more important to this thing that they built and were doing together. That has to be really tough to watch.
I think that, and like other younger guys that were less integral to the team's success over the last several years, getting paid before he did, that was a factor. I really, the more I think about it, it does seem like the very core of this was he was really struggling with not being the same guy pre-injury. And like, it's just, he's same jersey, right? Same teammates in a lot of cases. And like, he's different. And so just changing teams makes it so that like, oh no, everything's different now. He can just be whatever he is and won't be, whether it's him doing it or us, compared to what he used to be, like just that I think if it's true that the biggest factor was him having a hard time, like basically reckoning with career mortality, then I think changing teams is just going to alleviate like the worst parts of what he was going through. I hope. And practically speaking, like you can make the case the Warriors are better now with who they have as opposed to having brought him and some other guys back. So I think it's an emotional like blow, but it is kind of potentially a win-win if you're looking at it from his perspective and the Warriors perspective. And like, look, he's going to get the statue, right? Like none of that's going to change. So that it'll all circle back and be fine.
Could it also be though, he's definitely struggling to come to grips with reality, but that he also views it as, I still can do more than you were asking of me, but we're not built to have me do it. The thing they need most, he can no longer do, which would be his wing defense and the on ball creation. And it's okay. I'm not that same guy, but I can still do more than you're asking of me.
Right. And I think another character trait that is not a surprise, because like he was like the poster boy for irrational confidence, right? Like that, like I think that was like, I don't know if it was a meme or a t-shirt or whatever, but like that concept was attached to him because like he truly believed like I will make every shot I take. And like when the body starts to not hold up its end of the bargain and you still think that way, it's easy to be like, well, I'm not being allowed to do everything I can, even though every like coaching staff, teammates are like, well, I mean, quietly, like, but you can't, like that's pretty hard to, I can understand why he was so unhappy. I guess maybe is the real takeaway. Like, that's just, I could completely, it makes total sense why he would want to leave. Because I think there were some people like, why would you ever? Well, it's like, well, it's pretty obvious that it was just, enough stuff had built up over the last few years that it was the only move.
I have another Warriors question though.
Okay.
What would you give up for Lauri Markkanen? Since they seem to be weirdly the only team involved, at least publicly, unless the Jazz are trying to drum up other offers. And part of that is if the Kings, it seems like they realize, well, this is going to drag out with Utah, and ditto for the Spurs. They got Harrison Barnes. If you could still get Lauri Markkanen, go ahead and do it, but they don't appear to be in a rush. And now it's just kind of like, well, who else is coming in with the Lauri Markkanen offer? But from the Warriors' perspective, I think we would both agree he's a fantastic fit everywhere.
Yeah.
But it seems like Danny Ainge wants everything. And they can technically give up to 3 first-round picks, because that protection on the Washington one, it's more valuable on the side that the Warriors have, where it's like Washington gets it if it's 21 through 30. If you send that to Utah saying you get it if it's 1 through 20. So you could send 3 first-round picks, some swaps. It seems like they want all of that, plus pods, plus Kuminga. That to me is an unreasonable ask for a non-star who's headed towards free agency and isn't going to take a discount, I would assume, in his next contract. What would you, as the Warriors? Well, one, what do you think about the prospective fit? How much of it is, well, let's see who goes out, and then I'll see how I feel about the fit. And then what would you, of all the assets the Warriors have, what's the realistic most that you would give up to get him?
Yeah, this will be interesting because I haven't really thought. All I've done is like looked at the Utah's ask and been like, well, that's stupid. Like that's Danny Ainge just anchoring as high as possible and hoping negotiations like build off of that position. I think it's hard to find a team that Markkanen doesn't fit really well with, and the Warriors are no exception. I think the range shooting, the size, the rebounding. He would be like a really big Klay Thompson minus some of the defense. Like he fits. It would be a great fit. But like, I just can't get comfortable enough with the picks, whatever you want to do with the picks, as long as it's not like absolutely all of them, throw them out there. I think you got to hold on to either Kuminga or Podziemski. Like if it's Moody and Podziemski and 2 picks, even that feels like a kind of a lot. If it's Kuminga and Moody or you can even throw, I don't think they'd want Trace Jackson Davis, but you could put him on the table and see if that saves you something. It can't be both Podziemski and Kuminga, because those two are the Warriors' best shots at having a young guy ascend to like a, difference making level. And if you lose both of them, now you've cut your options down for a player, like you said, that's like very good, not a superstar. And you're probably going to have to pay him, by the way, as if he is in fact a superstar. So that's just another factor. So it can't be all the picks and all the guys. It's got to be a couple of the picks and one or the other, I think, of Kuminga and Podziemski. And I could talk myself into it. Anything beyond that, I'm not on board.
If you had your druthers, are you sending? I think a lot of people framed it as Podziemski might just be more valuable to the Jazz because he has more years left on his rookie scale, but that might be why the Warriors value him too, where it's, are we really going to pay Lauri Markkanen and Jonathan Kuminga a boatload of money together? But if you're removing the finances from the equation, I'm assuming you would prefer to give up Pods as opposed to Kuminga in any Markkanen deal?
Yeah, and I'm in the bag for Kuminga. It's irrational. It's still, whatever you think about the two of them, I don't think it's reasonable to say that Podziemski's ceiling is higher. I think you could certainly say Podziemski is a safer bet to be like, this guy's going to be in the top 8 for the next 10 years of a pretty good team. Kuminga's probably there too, but Kuminga just has the athleticism, the size, the positional designation, like all the stuff that's like, is there a 5% chance that he's like a multi-time all-star?
Right.
Maybe. Whatever that number is, I think it's higher than it is for Podziemski. So I would just rather have Podziemski be the one to go. I wouldn't feel good about it. I really like Podziemski. I think he's going to be a winning player. But Kuminga's just like, there's a chance that he's really, really, really good. Podziemski doesn't have that kind of ceiling, I don't think.
How would you expect this to play out now? And we all have sort of this unofficial, it's not, because if he renegotiates and extend by August 6th, he can be traded for one day during the season. And so there would still be the layer of uncertainty. Personally, if I'm Markkanen, I guess you do it anyway because they're giving you this immediate raise. But like, I don't want to have to relocate. I don't care where I'm going in the middle of the year. Maybe if you don't want to rebuild in Utah, okay, anymore, fine. But like, I would be like, no, I'll sign it August 7th. Like if you want to move me, you do it before then. But like, how do you kind of see this? Do you think he ends up getting renegotiated and extended? Do you think if he does that it is by August 6th? Like, how do you just see, and does he end up with the Warriors? Does he stay in Utah? How do you see this playing out?
If I'm him, I do the same thing you just said. I'm waiting till August 7th to sign, to renegotiate and extend. It just feels like if the trade was gonna happen, it would have happened. It seems like they're too far apart. And then Utah has the option to just kind of sit there and be like, we'll just pay a really good player like close to what he's worth, and we can trade him later. Like, we're not on your timeline, like
right.
The Jazz can be as patient or as like hard-headed as they want in terms of negotiating trades, and as patient as they want with like deciding what to do. The Warriors are the ones with the urgency. And so by definition, you're sort of like in a weaker bargaining position. So my guess would be he does what we're saying and just, they don't trade him because, the Warriors don't cave. And then he signs a day late and can't be traded this year. That would be my best guess.
Do you think there's a chance though that Danny Ainge goes, well, then we're not going to renegotiate and extend you. We'll use our cap space now, and then we'll move you at the trade deadline, or maybe, and then they're still going to have his bird rights in free. I think there's a risk in doing that because he could just leave in free agency.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can let him get to that point unless you actually just want to keep him. And that's the reason and you want to use your cap space now to get better for some reason. But I don't know if he's going to get moved. I just don't know. I almost feel like he's going to sign before August 6th or on August 6th, and then he's going to get moved on trade deadline day. And like, that's going to be one of the biggest stories for the entire year.
Yeah, no, that's possible. I do think like, I said, I think he's going to sign late and stay. Like, that's like 51%, like I don't have a strong sense. It's all the Danny Ainge of it. It's like, you just don't know like how serious he is about the first like negotiating salvo. Like, it's hard to get figured out how close is this really? Cause you don't really know if he's just posturing or just hoping the Warriors get desperate, or like what the actual acceptable bargain is. I really have no idea because Danny Ainge just never lets you know.
And I guess, is this the player? I know you said you wouldn't give up anything for him, but you're going to have to give up real stuff for him. Is this the player that you're willing to give up? Let's say 2 picks and Moody and then one of Kuminga. But like, is Lauri Markkanen good enough? Can he be even if it's not the bridge, can he be the co-bridge into a post-Steph era? Does he do enough while Steph is still this good? What are your thoughts on that aspect of all this?
I think the concerning thing for me, I guess my shortest answer is like, not quite. The concerning thing for me would be, you do this, you have to give up Kuminga and Podziemski. Steph is done whenever he's done. And then you're basically in the Utah Jazz's position, except you don't have 30,000 future first round picks. Like that's a bleak outlook, and it's very much in play. Like if they pull off the deal now, and the Warriors give up what Ainge wants, you're talking about a couple years down the road where it's like, oh boy, like there's not a lot here. So if it were, I don't know what the name is, but we do this a lot where you ask like, well, who's the worst player that they should give up whatever these assets are for? And if you're talking about like the Warriors want to be a contender, I don't know. Like, look at the West, man. Like Markkanen doesn't get them there. Like he makes them more interesting, but you're not in the Denver OKC tier.
I think I honestly feel better about if they end up keeping Kuminga because one, I think that makes it easier to play Kuminga and Draymond together with Lauri, and then maybe even sprinkling Andrew Wiggins in there, depending on how the salary structures work out. And just because you're mentioning they're going to be so barren of assets, if there's the 5% chance that Kuminga pops into this co-building block type, if you have Kuminga and Markkanen, that's like a starting base. Okay, you don't have a ton of picks, but maybe you have some cap flexibility. Maybe you've hit on some of these second round guys or undrafted guys. Maybe you win some of just the minimum contract games. And so I think that's why it's almost Kuminga feels more important. Like logistically, okay, I get why you would want to move Kuminga. He's about to get paid. You have to pay Markkanen too. But from a longer term perspective, if you're trying not to just be in this wasteland once Steph has aged out, it probably makes sense to prioritize keeping Kuminga even with that payday looming.
I think too, you made me think of this just now. Like the Warriors are pretty relentlessly, like from ownership down, like ambitious. Like we want, like they want to give themselves the best possible chance. Generally speaking, like we want to win championships. And I would say that it's more ambitious to hold on to Kuminga. Like it would be ambitious to go trade for Lauri Markkanen for sure. Yeah. But it's more ambitious to hold on to Kuminga and say, we're going to bank on this slim chance that he's the guy that's like better than Jaylen Brown or like something like that, like he can be that. And it's ballsy and it's like a low probability play, but it's like, well, we're trying to win titles. So this is the guy we have to keep. So I don't know. It's one of those deals that like, I don't think it's going to happen. Even though they're the only team being talked about, it doesn't feel like I probably just jinxed it. But
if I had to take, the Warriors of the field is not technically a hard guess, but like you don't see the obvious mark. Like we could rattle off teams we want to go after him, but realistically, I don't know how many of those would do it. I'm with you. I don't think it happens. I also think that even if it does, this almost feels like it could be, remember the Knicks Donovan Mitchell negotiation where they just extended RJ Barrett and took him off the table? I could see that happening with Kuminga at some point.
Yeah, that's true too. Cause his camp is like, where is it? We're eligible. Where's the money? And that'll be another discussion. Like, I don't know what the size.
I don't know what you would pay him. I honestly, I don't want to get into this, but I reached a point where I think that he might be one of the most overrated players in the NBA. And I don't mean that as an insult, but we're talking about him as if he's like this, like almost has this Mikal Bridges type of non-star value. And I just can't, I see the vision with him, but as of right now, I don't trust the jumper. I don't trust his ability to generate his own shot unless he's in space. And like the defense is just kind of all over the place sometimes. Yeah. So I see the vision and that rim pressure is great, but it's just, and I don't know how much of this is on the Warriors. So I've just reached a point where it's, part of me is like, I understand why they'd want to keep him out of this deal. But then the other part of me is just like, if it's Jonathan Kuminga or Lauri Markkanen, like it's not really a choice.
Right. Yeah. There's not an argument that Kuminga is a better player than Markkanen today. I think the Warriors may be fairly convinced that like a year from now, it might be a real discussion if things go right. I don't know. You're right though. Like part of it is it's a glamour franchise. He's like the best version of like a hot prospect that they have. And so it's like everybody's aware of him and the highlights do it too. Like we love, like, I've never, like, that's A+ athleticism. We love that. And then it makes it harder to, be rational about like does not show up in the right spots on defense a lot. Like he doesn't rebound for, like all these other things. So I think it's not a hot take to say he's pretty overrated. At the same time, I think his potential is still like stupidly high. So I don't know. I'm part of the problem.
Very quickly, Russell Westbrook is a member of the Denver, or about to be. He was signed and traded, or no, they sent him to Utah on a sign and trade for Chris Dunn. He will be waived. This is the second time Westbrook has been traded to Utah, by the way.
Utah just facilitating.
I hope he gets his jersey, put it in the rafters. And then he's expected to sign with the Denver Nuggets. I'll give you my thoughts on it very quickly, where I'm past the point of just, it is that meme where it's, well, it hasn't worked for everybody else. Why is it going to work for us? However, Jokic is in the bag for Russell Westbrook. And now just because Jokic is, I'm like, I'm open to it. However, someone correctly pointed out to me in a text message earlier that LeBron is this transcendent high IQ basketball player. And he's been a terrible evaluator of talent. So how much do we trust Nikola Jokic? I would just say we haven't seen Jokic in the LeBron talent evaluation role having this influence. So I'm at least willing to consider maybe this is the team that gets Russell Westbrook moving off the ball. Maybe he's screening for Jokic and they're running like I'm open to it, but I don't think you could just presume that this is going to work out by any stretch.
No, the Jokic thing is like Westbrook is a band you've hated like forever. And Jokic is the music critic you respect who's like, actually, they're pretty good. This new record, underrated. And you're like, okay, guess I got to give him a second chance. Like that's what this feels like to me. Yeah, like I think part of it too is just that like I like it, which is, I don't think I've ever said about a Russell Westbrook acquisition by a team, but it's mostly because like, well, you got to clear the bar that Reggie Jackson set. And I think Westbrook can probably do that.
Jalen Pickett apparently is not going to do that. So
yeah. And it's just like, I don't know, maybe Denver will benefit from he's, still hyper intense, like is going to be really aggressive, and a team that won a title and then kind of disappointed maybe needs like a kick in the ass, and he can provide some of that. I don't know. The cost is so low too. The other thing is like, if it doesn't work out, he's gone. They can go figure out something else for their backup, point guard, which is really a third point guard because they have Jokic and eighth guy. I think he's the eighth, ninth, something like that on the depth chart ultimately. So yeah, I like the Russell Westbrook acquisition. Just put that on a poster.
Do you like the Gary Trent Jr. at the minimum acquisition by the Milwaukee Bucks? That was it. We knew it was headed in like Gary Trent Jr.'s market fell out below him. I think that happened to a lot of non-star players. Like I'm still in shock from like the Simone Fontecchio deal. Right. How did Haywood Highsmith not get more? And I do think that this is going to be, I think what we're going to see happen is the Caleb Martin situation where he could have opted and extended with Miami. Players are going to do that now if it's on the table. And ditto for Gary Trent Jr. apparently passed on like $15 million a year. I think we're going to increasingly see the pool of free agency players become less and less talented because we've now seen what happens when you are not a top 15 caliber player and can have your pick of any team if you want, like even those without cap space.
No, I think that's the most important aspect of this and the most interesting, what you're talking about. Like what does it mean that this happened? Because like shitty for Gary Trent, take one, really awesome for the Bucks, take two, like to get a guy this good on the minimum. That's like, what else is there to say about the actual transaction? I think what you're talking about is more interesting. It's like, is this a cautionary tale? Is this going to change how teams and players operate in free agency? Which it has to. And
it's hard to come back from like Brook Lopez is one of the few exceptions when you get classified into like the biannual or lower tier. Like Malik Beasley had a good year from Milwaukee. He got $6 million over 1 year from the fucking Pistons.
I wrote about that today in our winners and losers collaboration.
1,000 words or 2,000?
It's like 275. Just like Gary Trent is a loser here because he just lost millions of dollars. Like also potentially a winner because he's definitely going to start. He's definitely going to get a lot of shots. All this stuff helps the Bucks. But it's like Beasley is terrifying because what else would Beasley have needed to do last year to like juice his value, right? Like surely he's a mid-level guy now after shooting the lights out and helping a good team, and he gets $6 million. It's like, so if you're Gary Trent, you're like, oh my God, am I just never going to get back to being discussed as a 15, 20 million, like paid like an actual starter? Like that is a thing that happens. Like Lopez is for sure the exception to that rule. Like once you're down, considered a minimum guy or considered like, what's the other step down? Like some guys don't ever want to sign a two-way because it's like, well, once a two-way, you're just, it's hard to like crack that ceiling and get to a real guaranteed deal. Like that just goes to your point. Like guys are not going to test free agency, I think, as confidently maybe going forward.
If you're Paul George, sure. But
yeah, you can't do it if you're like he's kind of a starter, but he's like, not going to change our world. Like those guys may just need to take whatever money's there whenever they can.
I think teams just holding on to, we've always seen them hold on to their mini MLE for like Denver's just the only team that consistently uses it and then uses it on the wrong player. Or like use it on a player they didn't need to use it on. But like the non-taxpayer MLE, I don't know why I can't say that. Like now that you can use it to acquire players via trade, teams are just holding on to them more. It seems like heading into I'd have to look at the historical data on, okay, well, how many of those were used this year versus the others? But it feels like far few. I mean, like the Warriors gave it to D'Anthony Melton over 1 year.
Right.
And so it's just like, and for the Bucks, I obviously like it, but now they're in another situation, and Gary Trent Jr. is too good to get it. But it's, well, this guy's not going to be here after next year. And if he is, something went terribly wrong. I guess he is young enough to where if they winked and said, we'll take care of you with early bird rights, but like he's 120% of the minimum's a fail on that. So great piece of work by the Bucks to convince him to take that. I don't know whose fault it was that he didn't take the money. I will say, I hate that this is what the industry has done to me, or this is this current state of it. When Woj tweeted out the news, the fact that Clutch allowed themselves to be tagged and then had his two agents identified, one of them being Rich Paul, I was like, I bet you Gary Trent Jr. is the one that turned down that contract, because why would you want yourself associated? Normally you just don't see the agents when stuff like this happens. And then I'm like,
that's right.
I was like, why was that my first thought?
You're wearing a shirt that explains it. You are a sicko, and that's the explanation.
Well, speaking of sickos, we are so back. It is stat padding together again, not the solo stat paddings I'm doing with those clip reactions, which will continue as time allows. And I've actually oddly enjoyed doing them. The viewers do not disagree. Those are not really popping, but that's okay. I enjoy doing them. We're back to guess a player, Grant. We're going to fall into the gap.
Let's do it. Do you have one queued up, or should I go?
Dealer's choice. Do you want to be the subject of guess a player first, or would you like to give the guess a player first?
Make me the subject so I can triple check that I'm not going to do a duplicate while I look through these.
This one comes from Mike Grant.
Okay.
A high school phenom. I was ranked the #1 player in all of high school basketball, despite being a junior at the time. I was being compared to NBA legends such as Kevin Garnett and even a modern Tim Duncan.
I feel like this has to be a one-shot kill here. So we're post at least KG and Tim Duncan. As a junior, was the #1 player. Is this Tyson Chandler?
No, I like the guess though. Well, I hope he wasn't ever compared to Kevin Durant, was he?
I thought you said Kevin Garnett.
Still.
All right.
Clue 2. I would take summer school courses in order to graduate high school a year early, thus making me eligible to reclassify and enter college a year early.
Is this person actually, can I ask, this is illegal. Is this guy actually in the NBA, or like?
Well, I guess I'll allow it. Yes, he's in the NBA. He's an active player.
I was going to say, if this is Cooper Flag, I'm going to be annoyed. All right. So yeah, that's still just the reclassified thing. This will be wrong. Imani Bates?
That is wrong.
Okay.
Clue 3. I would play 1 year at Duke, losing in the Elite 8, and then becoming a top 5 pick and getting selected ahead of the player who was the #1 high school recruit of the class before I had reclassified.
So this shouldn't be that hard. A Duke player that reclassified, went a year early, was a ridiculous high school recruit. I guess like if you go to Duke, you are a ridiculous high school recruit. Big guy. It will also be wrong, but I just want to put it out there. Sheldon Williams.
No, that's a deep cut though. Good for you.
I just thought of Sheldon Williams for the first time in 15 years, and so I thought I should say him.
I was about to say, I don't think he's still active in the NBA, but if you want me to double check. Okay, clue 4. I struggled to find footing early in my career as I was stuck on a team that had been mirrored in one of the longest playoff droughts in league history, and I was one of 6 big men that needed playing time.
Long playoff drought, bunch of big guys. Just think of Duke centers. God, it wouldn't have been Parker, not even a center. Probably too early for Boozer. Man, the reclassified thing is really throwing me on the high school pedigree thing. I don't know. I can't think of anybody else. Carlos Boozer.
Incorrect.
Yeah.
Again, this is an active NBA player.
Oh, right. Active. I forgot you gave me that unnecessary that clue.
Clue 5. I became a full-time starter in my 3rd season, but got injured after only 43 games.
Is it Derek Lively?
It is not Derek Lively.
Okay.
Clue 6. After my third season, the team stated that I would not be a part of the rotation after not agreeing to a contract extension.
Oh, God. I feel like I should know this already.
You're going to get it on the next clue. I have
this
a lot
is what happens when you don't do guess a player for a long time. Okay, just give me the next one then, please.
Our ramp up is going to be as slow as every single Joel Embiid ramp up, apparently.
It just never ends.
Clue 7. I was traded that season at the deadline to the Detroit Pistons as part of a 4-team deal where I was nowhere close to the centerpiece. That title belongs to players such as Dante DiVincenzo and Serge Ibaka.
Now I'm really spun out because you said I would get it on this one. So what Duke big guys got traded to the Pistons from?
Think of the players he was traded for.
I'm so bad at that. You're good at that. Like DiVincenzo and Serge. So DiVincenzo's coming from, well, I guess he's going from the Bucks to, I don't know. I'm totally blanked. I just can't. I got nothing. Everybody's screaming at this right now.
Good. That's the whole point.
Okay.
Clue 8. I did nothing of note with the Pistons in part of 3 seasons, never being a full-time starter and never developing into a modernized Tim Duncan, but I did average around 11 points a game.
Oh, man. Well, you would have got it by now on the trade clue.
And to be fair, I'm almost certain I wouldn't have gotten it before that trade clue.
Okay. Well, the trade clue does nothing for me because there's too many moving parts. So I don't know where Ibaka is going to. Well, I guess maybe both of them are coming from the Bucks. Maybe. Duke Center. This better not be like a Warriors player that I just can't remember.
I would classify him as a future Warrior.
Past and future Warrior. Let's see.
Just start naming inactive players again. So.
Yeah, this has been a banner start. So it's a big guy that went to Duke that ends up on Detroit fairly recently, averages 11 points a game. It should not be this difficult to come up with this person. And yet I don't have a name to give you.
All right. Clue 9. This is second to last clue.
Okay.
I was traded to the Wizards for Danilo Gallinari so that the Pistons could clear bad contracts.
What Duke center is on the Wizards?
If it's any consolation, I really do think you'll get it on clue 10.
You were wrong once before. I feel like I'm getting farther from the answer. God, this shouldn't be this hard. Duke Center. Now, I'm just going to sit here thinking. So yeah, go ahead and give me the last one.
Clue 10 and the final clue. Notable players that the Kings could have drafted instead of me include Luka Doncic, Trae Young, Jaren Jackson Jr., Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Mikal Bridges, Michael Porter Jr. Any of those?
So yeah, now I'm thinking about where I should have gotten it.
Do you want to say the name?
Yeah, it's Marvin Bagley. It's Marvin Bagley. Man, what was like the third clue? Was that still back in like high school stuff?
I would play 1 year at Duke, losing in the Elite Eight, and then becoming a top 5 pick and getting picked ahead of the player who was the #1 high school recruit of that class.
Yeah, that was what a bad effort. Perfectly.
It wasn't a bad effort. I mean, look, you're rusty. I do think I thought you were going to get it on the DiVincenzo Ibaka trade.
Those those are just I don't remember stuff through the trade lens as well as you do. All right, so we did one with Mike here. I will return the favor. I don't think we've done this one. Stop me if these sound familiar.
No, I'm going to play it off like we never did it, so I can one-shot kill it.
Yeah, that'd be the better move. Clue number 1. I was drafted in the second round in 2015, but was traded along with a future first for Grievous Vasquez.
I feel like I should know this one.
I would be impressed.
Was traded with a second-round pick for?
Traded with a future first for Grievous Vasquez.
I actually should know this one.
Grievous Vasquez, by the way, might have been the first guess a player subject because I came up with that one for you. like however long ago that was.
Oh yeah, wow.
And you got it. So you are the authority on Grievous Vasquez related
Grievous
trivia.
Vasquez and a first round pick. Yeah, I got nothing. Just keep going. Oh, okay. Wait. Jose Calderon?
No. Damn. I think he was also one of the early Gessa players. Maybe that's why. All right. Clue number 2. As a rookie, I played in 49 games, starting 24 on a playoff team. I averaged 5.5 points a game, shooting above 40% from 3.
He's a rookie. I can't remember which side game. Like, is this what team is this now at this point? Started 24 games as a rookie, averaged no points really, but hit threes at a 40% clip. I don't even think I have a name.
Yeah, I'm not sure I could tell you what team this guy is on at this stage of the clues. And I know who it is. Clue 3. The next year I settled more into a bench role, upping my scoring to 8 points a game, but only shooting 32% from 3. I don't feel like that's going to help you too much.
No, it doesn't help me even a little bit. God damn it, Mike.
Clue 4. My 4th season was a good one as I got to play alongside a star player from my hometown en route to my only NBA title.
Star player won an NBA title. What was the first part of that clue?
So my 4th season. So he was, just to place us here, he was picked in 2015. So we're in his 4th season now. So it's 19, I guess. Season was a good one as I got to play alongside a star player from my hometown en route to my only NBA title.
So we're 2019 title team. So he is a Raptor. I see you start naming 2019 Raptors. Chris Boucher?
No, it's not Chris Boucher. Very reasonable guess by you.
Oh yeah, only one guess per that should be our new rule. We do it anyway, but one guess per clue and then moving on. So please move on.
All right. Clue number 5. The year after I won a title, I doubled my scoring average up to 16 a night, a mark I've met every year since, except for 23-24.
So there's this massive drop off now, but he was wait. Norman Powell?
It is in fact Norman Powell. Good job. 5 clues. I guess he's from Kawhi's hometown. They're both from.
I have no idea where Norman Powell is from. Yeah. That is not part of my basketball knowledge catalog.
Did not know that either.
All right, let's pull up one. We got to bounce around here. Make sure because we have a bunch. We are backed up on Yesa players. My God. Rubik's Gal has one for you. Clue number 1. Are you ready, Grant? I should ask you that first. That's not the clue. That's my question.
I win. 1 shot kill. Yes, I'm ready.
Clue number 1. I'm the only NBA player to wear number 47 for more than 5 years. It is a rather appropriate choice of number.
Ooh, why is it appropriate? 47.
If you knew who it was, I guess you know.
Is this guy's career high 47 points or something? I'm so bad with numbers too. I'm bad at a lot of this. I'm learning.
How about you? We need to start building. What are you good at?
Yeah. Could you guys give me clues that like are? I think what I'm asking for is easier clues. 47. Who would wear 47? What kind of a monster would choose 47? I don't know who that is.
Okay, clue 2. I was the league leader in blocked shots in 2005 and 2006 with 220. Not the only time I've blocked 200 shot attempts per year.
Oh God damn it! This is such a 1-shot kill. Andre Kirilenko.
Yeah. Wow. I feel bad though because there's 9 clues here, but good job. So you get why I'm surprised. I was like, if he was gonna 1-shot kill this would be one of the ones to do it.
Your poker face was really good because if it were me, I'd be like, come on, dude. You guys, of course, there's only one guy associated with 47.
Some of the other clues from Rubik's Gal in 03-04, I was 3rd in blocks per game and 4th in steals per game. Only the 2nd player to ever rank in the top 5 of both in the same season. Clue 4, since the league started recording steals and blocks, there have been 14 players who ended their careers with 1,400 plus blocks and 1,000 plus career steals. I'm the only one of them to have done this in fewer than 800 games or fewer than 25K minutes. Clue 5, I played 10 seasons for this Western Conference team, making 1 all-star game and 3 all-defense teams. Clue 6, I am one of 2 NBA players to finish a game with at least 6 steals, 6 blocks, 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. The other is Hakeem Olajuwon, who needed a double OT game to notch those numbers. Clue 7, I'm one of only 2 players who have multiple 5x5 games, having done it 3 times. That's also Hakeem is the other one to do it. Clue 8, during the lockout of 2011, I went back to my homeland and took my team to the EuroLeague finals, earning EuroLeague MVP, all EuroLeague first team, EuroLeague best defender honors. Clue 9, I was born in the town of Ishezvik, sorry for the mispronunciation there, in the former Soviet Union, now Russia, incidentally the same place where the weapon was first manufactured. Who am I? It's AK-47. Now, there is this one clue. I was going to phrase it this way if you didn't get it. The final clue was, which NBA player's wife allowed them to fuck around? Because there's that. I never saw this. Rubik's Gal sent it. This is an excerpt. ESPN the magazine reported in 2006 that Masha allows Andre to have sex with another woman once per year and quoted her, "Male athletes in this country are extremely attractive. They get chased by women. It's hard to resist. It's the way men are by nature." That was one of the most WTF ways to say boys will be boys that I've ever heard.
Yeah. I remember that story because she was like a Russian pop star or something too. Like they were both very famous and it was like doubly a big deal.
I didn't know. I know this is not my forte. If she was a pop star, maybe she also had that hall pass once a year too.
Seems a possibility. Okay. I've got a couple in here from Austin. That I don't, this is like really old. Again, either one shot kill it or tell me if this sounds familiar. All right. Clue 1. I was quite the steal being picked in the final 5 picks of my draft class, 2010s era, not giving the specific class yet, as I went on to have a 10-year NBA career where I averaged 38.8% from 3.
I thought he was going to say 38.8%, 38.8 points per game. I'm like, I don't think that's the NBA. Drafted, what did they say? Bottom 5 pick or in the second? What was it?
He was in the final 5 picks of his draft class. So I assume that means like 55 to 60.
Miles?
No, that's a good guess. Clue number 2. I was the second player drafted in my class from blank university to the same NBA team. Okay.
Wait, what?
So the blank is the name of the university and also like the city of the team.
Well, it's Austin, so I'm assuming this is a Pacer.
I think I'm interpreting that clue right.
Can you read it one more time?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. So based on the third clue, I don't think I am interpreting it right.
All right, let's just go to clue 3. Then,
yeah, okay. Clue 3. I became just the 3rd Big Ten player ever to tally 2,000 points, 500 rebounds, and 400 assists, leaving my alma mater ranking as the 3rd highest scorer. Hint, I really enjoyed how my former school did in the 2024 NCAA tournament.
Oh, no. I don't even remember who won the 2. Wait, UConn won? Were they the men's champs this year?
I don't remember either. But
he said Dan Hurley, that whole thing with the he's trying to go back to.
But he said Big Ten. UConn has never been in the Big Ten. UConn's in the Big East. So I don't know.
Didn't UConn win? I'm not wrong about UConn winning.
I think UConn won it. This is so bad. I'm pretty sure.
Look, this is the NBA podcast.
Yeah. You can't be expected to remember stuff that happened like 4 months ago.
Yeah. That didn't happen in the NBA.
Okay.
But that doesn't help me. Well, it helps me. So this player, I'm just going to assume they're from UConn, unless I'm just wrong about the men's.
Here's the other problem. I'm not even sure. I can't even remember.
No, because the whole thing with Dan Hurley was he wants to run it back and try and win the title again with UConn.
I mean, I'm looking at this player's name and I don't remember if he went to UConn or not. So
yeah, I mean, that doesn't. We're debating over this, and it's not going to help me get the player. So let's just move on.
All right. Clue 4. I rocked number 55 throughout my NBA career, like legendary bigs Mutombo, Hibbert, and Isaiah Hartenstein, but I am not considered a big.
Drafted in the 2010s, and in the bottom 5, I wonder. This will be top-notch work by Austin if he just pivots from everything he's given us in the past, and I'm like focusing too much on the clue giver.
Yeah,
the clues rather.
Yeah,
just keep going.
Play the game, not the man, I would say.
Well, then this is just like I'm all turned around. I don't know how to do this now. Final 5 picks of the draft. Deshaun Stevenson?
Nope.
Do you go to UConn?
Nope. I don't think he went to college. Okay. You got 3 clues left. I do have confidence in you still. I think you will get it. Clue 5. I bounced around the league during my career, but my most notable stop came from 4 years in New Orleans, where I averaged 26 minutes a game, firing away at 40.4% from deep.
How many years in New Orleans?
4.
In the 2010s.
I think that's the team I associate him with most if I just like had to choose too.
He was a bottom 5 pick, shot the ball well. I have no idea. I don't even have names to throw out. I'm getting too caught up here. You may continue.
Okay. This is interesting. I don't know if it's going to help you. While I made a nice $43+ million in the NBA, it was reported that I have made even more from a single offhand investment into a development of a Dallas executive airport after searching for opportunities post Orlando Magic waiving me. So the tidbit there is he was on the Magic and they waived him. And also he's a smart investor, I guess.
Oh my God. I feel like I should know this. What?
Well, the next clue, you'll laugh when we get to the next clue, which is the last clue. So this is a tough one.
All right. Give me the final clue.
Right. Clue 7. My senior year, I won a high school state title battling with fellow Indiana native Eric Gordon. So Austin did, in fact, circle all the way back to an Indiana angle by the last clue.
So he was a good shooter, played for the Pacers, came from UConn, was on the Pelicans at one point.
I don't know if this is fair, but I also weirdly think of him as like, oh, he's kind of one of Dan's guys. Like, I feel like when in years past, if you were having to identify like, this guy might be a bargain or someone should trade for him or like whatever, this is a name I think you would invoke. I remember you invoking him. Like, what about this guy?
That makes me feel even worse. It doesn't help me. It just makes me feel even...
He's pretty obscure and like this is pretty tough. I'm trying to think of any clues I could give you. I think of him as an undersized, because we're out of clues here. I think of him as like an undersized 2. Maybe that's not even right.
An really. Undersized 2.
I think all so. Right. Now I want to look up like you think about undersized 2s. I'm gonna make sure.
Doesn't sound like someone I'd be in the bag for.
I'm gonna pull up his Basketball Reference and
undersized
see if I can.
2. Dan apparently liked him.
Yeah, he's 6'3". He's listed as a shooting guard and point guard. Here's something. That second year in New Orleans, he played all 82 games, started 80 of them, and was 13th in most improved player. That was his best season. 42.5. How about this? 42.5% from 3 in 17-18, 43% in 18-19. Go back to 15-16 for the Bulls, 45.2%. Undersized 2 who could really shoot it. Didn't give you a whole lot else.
That's not Aaron Brooks, is it?
No, that's not a bad. I think of Brooks as more of a point guard than this guy.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, he only was
crying uncle.
Okay. There's an apostrophe in his first name. Does that help you?
No. Is that O'Shea Brissett? That's too early for him. And he never had shooting seasons like that. Was never in New Orleans, I don't think.
All right. Are you ready for the reveal?
Yeah, I forfeit.
It is E'Twaun Moore. Am I correct?
Yeah. Okay. I could see myself being in the bag for the Bulls one. I should have got it at that point.
Well, it's like, I can imagine when we're talking about or writing about like teams need shooting. It's like, there he is. E'Twaun Moore. Just go get him. I feel like maybe that was me. I don't know, but I thought I associated that with you.
I definitely probably wrote about him in that vein at some point. So, did we do this one? Yeah, let's do another one from Rubik's Gal, and I have some from Austin for you. Grant, since 2018, there are 24 players who have made at least 1,000 regular season threes. Only 5 players have done this in fewer than 400 games played. Can you name them? or how many of them can you name?
1,000.
24 players since 2018 have made at least 1,000 regular season threes, but only 5 of them have done it in fewer than 400 games.
So a ton of threes in fewer than 400 games since 2018.
Correct.
Man, it's okay. So it's not like they entered the league in 2018. It's just that's when we're measuring from.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're talking how many seasons? That's 6 seasons.
1,000 threes in 400 games over 6 seasons. Steph, I gotta say,
that is one.
Um,
that's an average in case you care about 67 games per season, if that helps you at all.
Okay. And 1,000 threes over 6 seasons, you're like not messing around. Those are high totals. Buddy Hield?
Nope, incorrect. I'll give you 3 strikes before I cut you off.
Okay. I mean, Luka?
Nope. Strike 2. Come on, man. Get one more.
I'm trying to think of who just makes tons of threes over the last 6 years. Man, I really need to make sure this is a serious pick here. I'm not going to say Klay because that is right when he misses those 2 years. Gosh, who else just chucks? Harden's probably done making tons of threes and he missed too much time. I think Durant probably missed too much time. I got to eat lunch before we do these. Maybe that's the problem. It's not. I'm really surprised it's not Buddy Hield. Man, and it's not Luka. Oh, is it Trae Young?
No, incorrect.
God damn. Who are the other? What are the other 4?
So you got 1 of 5, and you had 2 of 5 because Klay Thompson's one of them. He did it He did it only 328 games. Steph did it, by the way. He 1,833s, which is just bonkers, in 382 games. Eric Gordon, 1,005 threes in 394 games. Duncan Robinson, 1,012 threes in 349 games. And Kyrie, 1,009 threes in 348 games.
Wow. I would have thought there's no way he played enough games to get up there.
I honestly thought you would have gotten Klay. I could see that fucking with your head, the injuries. That makes sense now. I thought you were going to get Eric Gordon for sure.
No, I not in top form. Okay. Let's see. I think I have one here for I was going to do
10 minutes left on our fictitious clock. We said we were
going
to do this for an hour.
I was going to do a Be Rich one, but he didn't give me the player at the bottom, but I kind of want to do it anyway. We'll just work through it together. All right.
He does that now. It's so annoying if I don't know it right off the bat. Talk about the mind of a sociopath.
Yeah,
psychopath.
This is evidence of it, if you've ever wondered. Clue number 1, I was a 2nd-round pick in the mid-aughts, drafted by a Western Conference team. We can move past that.
I don't even get to one-shot kill that. That's like so...
it's impossible.
What was the first clue I'm going to try anyway?
I was I don't know. I won't know until I read the rest of the clues if you got it. So we can't one-shot kill it. Just say a name. Maybe it'll turn out to be right.
Can you read the clue then one more time?
2nd-round pick in the mid-aughts.
What does mid-aughts mean?
Like 01 to 09.
All right, 2nd-round pick from 01 to 09. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say CJ Miles. Was he undrafted? Maybe that's a bad one.
I don't know. I was like, this is how on tilt I am. I can't think of a 2nd-round pick from the mid-aughts, like full stop. Okay. My rookie year, I finished 8th in Rookie of the Year voting and undoubtedly learned from 9-year vet Greg Buckner. We have a Greg Buckner mention. Don't know where Greg Buckner is at this point in history.
Neither do I. We know it's in the mid-aughts, though.
Yeah. Oh, in my 2nd season, much to Dan Favale's ire, I finished tied for 2nd for most improved player, along with Kevin Durant and George Hill. Aaron Brooks won. I think we did this one. Aaron Brooks won MIP that season due to moving into a starting role in Houston, averaging 19.5 and helping the Rockets miss the playoffs, I guess. All right.
They tied for 2nd in most improved player with who? Kevin Durant and
George Hill. So that puts you in
08,
09?
Yeah. Who was like kind of were breaking out then in their second year.
That's really hard.
I got nothing.
Across my 13-year career, I averaged 14 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 3.4 assists while shooting the three at a 36% clip. 14 and 7. That's a weird
second round pick. Relevance close to the 2000. What?
I was gonna say just enough assists that it's like kind of wingy, probably, but a decent shooter, 36%, especially for that time.
Nothing.
All right, a 3-time All-Star. My 5th season was my most decorated, finishing 12th in MVP voting, 2nd team All-NBA, and confusingly, 2nd team All-Defensive, while also winning Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, Marc Gasol.
You're right.
Damn it.
Now I do remember. Because I think I texted him. I was like, is this Marc Gasol? Like, do you want to put it on there? All right. I think we got it.
Imagine we didn't, and that's just like, we're just wrong.
Left it there. Here's the kicker. I have to be one of the only players in NBA history to get traded along with a couple first-round picks and cap filler for my older brother. It's Marc Gasol. Good job.
Let me see. Did we do this one? Oh, no. Okay, we did that one, right? This one's from Austin. Clue 1. You have 11 clues here. Oh, no, wait. We did this one. That was LeBron. We didn't do this one. Clue 1 of 8. I am a multi-time all-defensive selection, was the 1994 steals champ, and currently sit in the top 50 all-time for steals.
Gary Payton.
No. Nice guess, though. I honestly, I'm just going to say this. You're on the right track.
I want to take a second guess, but I will not.
Go ahead. Just
Nate
make
McMillan.
affiliations.
Nate McMillan.
Correct. That doesn't count as a giveaway, right? You're on the right track. Because like Gary Payton and Nate McMillan's kind of like a pretty big leap.
That's a 2-shot kill.
That was nice job by you. Clue 2, I'm a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Clue 3, my draft day team seems to have a bright future ahead of them, although not in the city I grew to know. That was a good clue. Clue 4, my jersey has been retired by my previously great Western Conference team. Clue 5, I led my NC State Wolfpack team to the Elite 8 in back-to-back seasons, playing alongside several other NBA players such as Chucky Brown and Spud Webb. Clue 6, I finished top 10 in Defensive Player of the Year voting multiple seasons along with my fellow Seattle Supersonics teammate. Clue 7, I currently sit in the top 20 all-time wins for a head coach, but unfortunately am unemployed today. Clue 7, my son was an assistant coach for my most recent team I served as head coach for, the Atlanta Hawks. Let's go to this other one from Austin for you since you killed that one so quickly. Nice job by you.
Thank you.
Clue 1. Clue 1 of 9. I think you'll get this one. Not in one shot because I didn't know this. Clue 1. I was a second-round pick and am a distant cousin to actress/singer Queen Latifah. This is like not my wheelhouse, but this is so far outside of your wheelhouse.
Second-round pick related to Queen. We don't have a year. All we know is second round and Queen Latifah.
If you know, I mean, like cousin of Queen Latifah is a.
That's tough. It's real tough. Hold on. Let's see. Well, we've already established I can't just offhand think of second round picks. Is it Nikola Jokic?
No. Nice job though.
It's my best guess.
Clue 2. My jersey has been retired by the Cavaliers, but not so fast. I never wore a home jersey in Cleveland.
Well, that's something. How do you get your jersey retired, but you never wore a home jersey? So did he play on the road and somehow got his jersey retired by the Cavs?
I'm gonna Google why they did this so that we have it when you eventually get it.
Well, it's like some guys get them retired no matter, like, you know, their Jordan's jerseys retired in a bunch of arenas or stuff like that. But so it could be, it doesn't have to have a Cavs association, maybe.
I see what he did there. Wow. Shit's fucked up, Austin.
Oh no. Jersey retired. Okay, I don't know what to think. Can we let's do the next clue?
Clue 3. My calm and professional demeanor and master's degree in public policy has earned me a nickname that would imply I will be going head to head this fall with Biden and Trump. God, I don't think we've ever had to say the latter name on this podcast.
Is it? I'm looking for Indiana angles again, because we've so far proved that no matter what, they resurface in Austin clues.
This is another clue. This is a clue when you eventually get it or it's finished, you'll be like, oh, duh. Unless you don't know his nickname, which I think you do.
Oh, is it Malcolm Brogdon?
It is Malcolm Brogdon.
Okay, because what, like, the
Virginia
president?
Cavaliers retired his jersey. College.
Oh,
That was I love it.
Respect. I was about to say that's bullshit, but in fact, respect.
Incredible. Clue 4, I've had a pretty strong shooting career, earning the difficult 50-40-90 honor just 3 years into it. Clue 5, my first NBA team change came via restricted free agency with what was considered a controversial decision by my new team's fan base, as I was signed to a new deal that my original team would not match, but was still compensated a first-round pick via sign and trade due to public statements made by my new team's owner that he didn't like to make offers to restricted players as he considered them still part of their original team. Ironically, this owner would make an even more lucrative offer a few years later to a restricted free agent who is now my current teammate without offering any draft compensation. You can tell Austin was kind of using that as a catharsis right there.
Yeah.
Clue 6, with a solid 15 points per game career average, I've earned several awards such as first team all rookie, rookie of the year, and sixth man of the year. Clue 7, I was a 3-time all ACC first team player and ACC player of the year in 2016. Clue 8, while primarily thought of as a scoring guard, I showed the ability to run point guard during my first season with the Pacers, racking up over 7 assists per game. Clue 9, and the final clue, although showing great promise in my career, repeated injuries have tanked my public perception, averaging just 54 games played a year during my 8 seasons.
You could really mislead people with his rookie of the year win, you know, like that's just like, that never is going to feel like it made sense. But I remember at the time, like, it was defensible just because that was just somebody was hurt and it was such a down. Is that the Jabari Parker?
Joel Embiid?
Is that what it was? Was it Embiid?
Not the Joel Embiid year or no?
I don't remember.
I'll look very quickly, but you can tell we're getting old by that.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways you can tell we're getting old.
Do you have any others for me?
Yeah, I got to give you this one here from Rubik's Gal. It's been sitting in my messages for a month.
Yeah, 2016, 2017. So that was the Joel Embiid year.
Okay. Wow, that's crazy to think about.
It's also crazy that was 2 years after Joel Embiid was actually drafted.
I know, right. Yeah, right. All right. There's a tagline here. I'm enough and I'm great at doing stuff. Clue 1.
Grant Hughes.
Thank you. Just a lot of, we should do affirmations after all of these. My given name is the same as my father's and his father's. That's a good clue.
My given name, Lindy Waters III.
Good guess. Not Lindy Waters III. Really good guess. Number 2. My Twitter bio will tell you that I'm president of the Herb Jones is first team all defense fan club.
Oh, Trey Murphy?
Yep, you got it. 3 was I was born in Durham, and I keep giving back to that city that raised me by organizing a backpack giveaway every summer. 4, I'm a highlight reel dunker, and my dunk contest showed lots of creativity, but I fell short of Mac McClung's near perfect aerial acrobatics in 23. 5, but my biggest value to my team is as a spot-up shooter. This season, I generated 1.18 points per spot-up possession, have the lowest turnover frequency of any player with more than 4 spot-up possessions per game. Trey Murphy III.
Which is not like his actual name. Someone was mad at us because we called him Trey Murphy III.
There's a postscript. Please stop calling him Trey Murphy III. The Trey already incorporates the fact that he is the third Kenneth Murphy in the family. I did. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know I don't think I could have told you his name was Kenneth.
Yeah, they have it on Basketball Reference, which is annoying. It's Trey Murphy III. So I just call him Trey Murphy now ever since we heard that. So we do take it into account. No malice intended by fucking up his name. But
I think I still write Trey Murphy III. If I think, I don't know. I can't remember.
And well, like there's BR might still require you to. I don't think I do anymore, actually, since I heard it that way. But
hey, 3 fewer characters, more efficient.
It's like, and it's 3. Yeah, fewer keystrokes. You're right. Is that it for us? I think we have more from Mike that we could do, but we'll guess a player will return a few times over the offseason.
Yeah, I still got a few, but that's okay. We can keep
I think I got to all of Rubik's Gals, all of Austin. So if you want to send in guess a players, do that.
There you go.
Are you ready to take us out of here?
Yep. Thanks everybody for contributing. Again, this is, we always appreciate it, but we actually made use of the contributions on this episode. But there's plenty more. I got a whole bunch of them still that we'll get to, especially as we get into the dog days here of summer. Yeah, you guys all know the drill by now. Please, if you haven't already, rate the podcast, review it well, subscribe to it.
On YouTube. Flood them.
YouTube comments are great. Make sure you're subscribed there, so you can be part of the push to get to 10,000, since we've eclipsed 5 and we're ambitious.
Actually, this is where we announce that we've reached 5 and we will be shuttering podcast effective immediately. Thank you. Good night.
We got to do that on April 1st at some point. Just get real ridiculous. Nobody's ever thought of that before, doing like a joke podcast on April 1st. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, check out the merch. I don't know when this is airing, but like there's going to be a official merch drop very soon. Dan is
for the next few days, just whenever we have the time to promote. It's ready. I just need to make it live. We're excited. I said on one of the solo things I did that the designs got the grant stamp of approval, which is all we were waiting for. And so now they're ready to roll.
Noted fashion and quality control expert me really was the final hurdle. I think that's gonna do it. Thanks. Shouts, Frank Ntilikina. Apologies, Jared Allen.